The One Best Kept Beauty Secret. Chapter 1. You are what you project. Welcome to the best kept secrets of the world's most alluring woman, the model, actresses, and celebrities I have been privileged to work with have one trait that caused them to stand out in a crowd: the attitude they project to the world. These women that you see on the street, on the movie screen, or adorning the page of your favorite magazines are not the most beautiful women ever created. But don't tell them that. All women can be truly beautiful. The sad fact of the life is that there are some potentially lovely women out there who are holding on to some very old myth. I have worked with displaced housewives who decide to throw on their beauty, health, and diet routine away because the routine were too self-indulgent or complicated. So what do they do with their extra time? They spend it adorning their homes and families. Hello, what about your inner house? It is not necessary to give up yourself to love someone else. It is only when you truly love and respect yourself that you can give to others freely. Make the time. Create precious time for yourself by setting the alarm clock 30 minutes earlier than usual. Begin ritual for yourself that will become as important to you as breathing. If you really don't think that you have enough time during the day, then take it from the minute waste on phone calls, shopping, or mindless TV surfing. Keep it simple. Begin a house cleaning on your body, clothes, handbag, cosmetics, and anything else that keeps you from feeling good about yourself and your life. Stand up straight. This sounds so ridiculously simple, but it's one of the most evidential traits of those women we so admire. Stand against a wall with head, shoulder blades, and heels touching, and buttock pushed into the wall. Walk away without changing this position. A great posture is a wonderful beginning for your attitude adjustment. While you're at it, why don't you adjust those drooping bra straps? This queen has picked up both those drooping shoulders and those downward spiraling breasts. Be the star of your own show. You should be what people notice. Your cosmetics and clothes should not compete for attention with each other or with you. Stay with the basics, but invent your own style. If you like the color red, then use it as a consistent accent piece in your wardrobe. Do you have a special collection of pins or bracelets? Show them off. Make them your signature, but definitely do not attempt to wear more than 2 pieces at a time. Make an effort. Do owe it to your self-esteem, your family, and your friends to try. After all, you don't like to look at a messy house or office all day. Do you? Don't you really love and admire majestic artwork? A lovely flower arrangement become your off canvas and recreate yourself. Have it your way. After years of telling us what you wear and how to wear it, designers have finally accepted that women are not going to be dictated to anymore. Finally, after half rebellion, along with lagging retail sales in department stores across the country, there is a choice in helium, hemline, fabric, and so much more. The result, if you have great legs, feel free to show them off. If you have a lonely waist, accentuate it with a long and elegant ensemble. Play up the good visual and hide away those less than perfect areas. Don't be so modest. And learn to trust your mirror. Most of us believe only what others tell us, not what we see in the mirror. That's why we desperately seek compliment and depend on other people's feedback. Real beauties rely on their mirror and accept everything they see. When they behold great hair, they enjoy their good hair day. You won't find these women concentrating on the 2 pounds they gained from last night's dessert. While we are encouraged to go out and look our best, we're not supposed to admit that we have trying. Going that extra yard for beauty is sometimes perceived as prideful vanity. In addition, some women worry that they may attract the wrong attention, but one flower belongs only on work. Don't act or dress your age. Every beautiful woman that I have interviewed seems to possess the same trait, agelessness. If I hadn't been privy to their backgrounds, I could have been hard-pressed to put a number on them. Do you know who these women are? You have seen them in magazines or on TV. You know they are about your age, but they look so much better. Don't necessarily jump to the conclusion that they have had extensive plastic surgery. That's not always the case. How do you begin your timeless appearance? Pick up a magazine that might be geared to a different age demographic. Shop at a different store or department than you usually do. Find the mentor, someone whose style you have always amazed, to help you develop your new look. Almost everything we do is based on appearance. The pursuit of beauty is SOS time. Cute babies are half longer. We love flowers for their beauty. Start a journal. The first step to your way back to you is to start a daily journal. Keep your daily activities and thought as a reliable thermometer to your current state of thinking. Use Use it to keep track of what you are eating, wearing, and feeling. 5. Your energy level. Every person possesses an inner log. Don't rely on the time of day to tell you when to eat, when to rest. Let your body do the talking. It never fails to give you signs that tell you what it needs. Know when to let go. You are not a charging of the universe. Set goals. Don't get overwhelmed in the step to your transformation. Set standards and goals in baby steps. This is especially important if you are somehow lost yourself along the way. It could be as small as I will lose 5 pounds by the end of the month, or I will devote 1 hour a day just for me. Sit back, close your eyes, and visualize yourself as slimmer, happy, or more accepting. Beauty begins with self-acceptance. Look in the mirror, smile, and say hi. No-brainer. Have 1 or 2 outfits that you know make you look terrific and require no thought. Keep no more than 5 cosmetics that can take you out the door and don't have to be color coordinated. Keep 1 overcoat that will look stylish, take you out the door with dignity, and hide anything. Keep moving. Don't stay frozen in time. It is such an easy and comfortable place to get stuck. Keep a look that is absolutely your style, but keep reinventing that look to keep up with the times. Do you know who the ghastly ones are? You have seen that woman who wears that 70s Farrah Fawcett handle. Well, not even Farrah herself has kept that same look. Or better yet, that friend who was mocked in the 60s and refused to believe that the revolution is over. Learn to forgive. Get back to self-acceptance. Did you break your diet? That just means that you are human. Why is it that it is so much easier to forgive others and not ourselves? Let it go. When you overspend a bit, maybe that's just what you needed at that time to build your spirit. If you find it difficult to forgive others, remember that even the most well-intentioned person can hurt your feelings. Don't dwell on it. Don't let it stay with you, or it will convert itself into a bigger spending spree or something far more depressing. Throw it away and get on with your life today. Meditation is a beauty ritual. I have had the privilege of working with some big names in the modeling and celebrity world. Each of these great stars possesses the unique ability to go into some kind of trance when sitting behind that mirror. This is a concept that I have found to be a perfectly relaxed and enjoyable way to start the day. I double dare you. Remember that game we used to play as children? Whether it's just getting a manicure or changing your hair color, just a little something new or different can create a brand new mindset. Oh yes, of course, you can always change it back if you don't like it, but you may love the new you and wonder why you didn't try it sooner. Self-portrait. Drawing are our subconscious speaking to us. Take a pencil or crayon and draw a picture of yourself. Ask yourself what your drawing says about you. 1. Did you take up the whole page? 2. Are you in corner? 3. Are any of your body parts missing? 4. Are you wearing clothes? 5. What kind of clothes are you wearing? 6. Are you wearing shoes? 7. Are any of your body parts out of proportion? 8. What would name your drawing? Whenever I speak to groups or work with clients, I often use this self-test. It's several what we need to know in order to change our image and esteem issues. That's most evidential self-portraits. Results were the ones done by teenagers and homemakers re-entering the workplace. They were most likely to draw themselves without body parts, grotesque bodies, or as being practically invisible, taking up only a small corner of the page. Chapter 2. Skin. Water. Water is the number one beauty treatment favored by women of every age. You cannot create beauty without beginning with a clean, clear palette. Forget the very expensive import waters. If you don't drink at least 8 to 10 glasses a day, you are depriving yourself of the best beauty treatment on earth. Japanese women spend twice as much time and money on their skin than any other woman in the world. The sun is your skin number one enemy. You should always make sun protection a priority. Use a sunscreen formulated for your skin along with your moisturizer. Much of the evidence of aging, rough skin, ringlets, age spots are really the result of too much sun. Always apply lots of it not only to your face, but later it not the neck, hand and hairline. Cleansing. The first rule in beautiful skin is to stop over cleaning it. This is an unnecessary habit, especially true of women in this country. Unless you have been up all night teaching, you poor dear. Your face is not dirty. Your morning routine should be nothing more than reactivating last night's moisturizer with a splash of warm water or milk. White milk is lactic acid and will allow your face to receive a natural acid treatment. Please be aware that many of the acids on the market today are synthetic acids that have caused problems with some people. There have been reports of everything from sensitivity rash to permanent scarring. Be careful of the chemical acids you use, and when you can, substitute natural acids in your cleansing routine. In addition to milk, consider these natural acids: 1. Pineapple juice, 2. Lemon juice, 3. Potatoes, 4. Most citrus fruits. Turning is your second step, and an important one. The purpose of using a toner is to remove residue soap, moisturizer, and oil. You can spend a lot for a toner, up to $20 and more at some cosmetic counter. Or you can do what many famous models do: carry around lemons. They are refreshing and more effective than those silly toner and contain only a little lemon but lots of chemicals. Other inexpensive alternative: 1. Rose water, 2. Witch hazel, 3. Hydrogen peroxide, 4. Or try the following refreshing tea tonic. Mix 2 teaspoons of green or chamomile tea with 1/2 cup water. Saturate a cotton ball and apply all over the face. Allow it to remain on the skin until it evaporates. Moisturizing. I am happy to pass on one of the most important ways to save money. It is not necessary to spend a lot on a moisturizer. Good basic moisturizer can be found in any drugstore. Just learn to read the labels and look for these low-cost ingredients. Tips: don't buy a vitamin E, A, or C enhanced moisturizer. Go to your local pharmacy and purchase these vitamins in capsule form. Get as much potency as is available. Break open the capsule and add it to your moisturizer. You will get all the benefit of the expensive cosmetic creams without the extra chemical or expense. Lipid: list as ceramide, cerebrosidase, or sphingolipids. Sunscreen, now available in many moisturizers as a step safer. Add water. You will find most moisturizers more effective when applied to damp skin. It forms a thin film that will trap moisture in the skin. Evening is the most important time to take care of your skin. The sleeping hours are when your face is away from makeup, dirt, pollution, and is free to rejuvenate. Your evening regime is also effective and useful in de-stressing your entire body to prepare you for the best treatment of own beauty sleep. Just follow this step. 1. Cleanse. Make it easy on yourself, your skin and your pores by using just one product to remove both makeup and dirt. If your skin is dry, use a lotion or cream-based product that leaves behind emollient. It will feel like a light film on your face if your skin is normal to oily. Use a gel cleanser or a very mild facial scrub. Even though your skin may be very oily, be sure to use a gentle scrub like Neutrogena or Dove. Never use a deodorant scrub on your face or neck. If your skin is particularly sensitive, don't even use it on your body. 2. Exfoliate. I cannot overstate the need for this step. What is exfoliating? It's very much like peeling an onion or removing tiles of a roof. Exfoliating is necessary to get blood flowing into the face, as well as to remove grease. Here's what to use. Take a packet of sugar. Raw sugar works the best. Add a couple of drops of olive oil to make it easy to spread, and gently rub it into the crease of your face. Open a packet of instant oatmeal and mix it with water to create a paste. Rub this mixture into your face and rinse off the residue. I would suggest that you use instant oatmeal on your face and the traditional old-fashioned oatmeal to exfoliate the entire body. Rub seashant. Available in health food store. On over both your body and face. You will love its invigorating effect. 3. Mask. My favorite face mask is the result of my most memorable investigative reporting story. I have been informed that the very expensive spas that charge hundreds of dollars for headband wrap were using mud. Now the inside scoop is that the Chichi place were not using some exotic mud from the Dead Sea, but a formula created from kitty litter. Okay, we have all heard of clay mask. Clay is perfect for detoxifying the skin. What I discovered is that this so-called mud of clay treatment used by some salons is nothing more than kitty litter. The catch is that the bag must be masked 100% natural clay. It cannot contain any chemicals, additives, or clumping materials. The good news is that this type of kitty litter is generally the least expensive on the market. How to use it? Take about a tablespoon of the dried clay and reconstitute it with a small amount of water. Mud is mud. I don't care if it comes from the great spring of Italy, and if it does, if Gwen spent about $60 a jar, or from your local grocery store at less than $2 a bag. Detoxify your entire body with it. I have a quote with the most fabulous celebrity who swears by my kitty little face, including top makeup artists. Although they love this facial, they know that their client may be a little reticent to try such an unorthodox facial. So they pour the kitty litter into an attractive container. You might want to do the same at your house to avoid strange look. Potpourri jars make delightful hideout for your new find. I have demonstrated this several times on national TV shows with people from the audience, and not one person has ever told me that it felt anything but absolutely refreshing. It actually pours a kind of pleasant, minty feel. Mineral in the mud also benefits the skin. Please don't try to pick up the mud for that. Real mud is dirty and contains organisms that harbor disease. Other face masks to try. Ultimate cleansing mask. It's a blender or food processors. Grind 1 cup to oatmeal to a powder. Add 3 drops of almond oil, half cup of milk, and 1 egg white. Continue to blend together and apply. Rinse off after 20 minutes. Peach and brandy. Mash up a peach. Use ripe, canned or frozen, and mix in a tablespoon of brandy. Leave it on for 20 minutes and rinse off. Tomato mask. For oily skin, mash up a ripe tomato and leave it on for 15 to 20 minutes. Rinse with warm, not hot water. Banana mask. Mash up a very ripe banana. Add just enough honey to make a short spoon. Apply over face and hair. This is such a great filming mask that aging movie stars have been known to put it in the cup of their breasts to make their pretty picky. Just make sure that you don't add too much honey and that you use a sturdy bra. I recently did a TV show where I attempted to use a lacy bra. Needless to say, it was a little messy. Honey mask. Apply pour honey straight from the bottle to your face and neck. Allow it to set until dry, about 15 minutes. Rinse with very warm water. Milk of magnesia oil. A brush being mask. Apply it straight from the bottle. Let it dry for about 5 to 10 minutes. Rinse off with warm water. Gently pat face dry with fluffy towel. Pepto-Bismol. This is face mask particularly suited for those with sensitive skin. In the same way that this product coats the stomach, it gently caresses the face. Apply it straight from the bottle with a cotton swab. Allow it to dry and rinse with cold water. It's as refreshing as a cold summer breeze. Top secret tip: to revitalize and nourish the skin. Short-worn dry beans and lentils, fresh and are best. Overnight mask and add a small amount of honey. Apply over face and neck. Leave it on for about 5 minutes and rinse with tepid water. Tone up tired skin. Make up a smooth spoon of crushed cucumbers and gently pat on over face and neck. Pull up your hair and apply a little bit behind the ear and behind the neck. This facial is absolutely fabulous for oily skin and clogged pores. Mix 1/4 cup vodka with the juice of 1 fresh lemon. Dab it on the face, neck, and chest area with a cotton swab. It's not necessary to rinse off. Let the air evaporate it. The less rubbing dust due to the face, the better. More beauty trick from the kitchen cupboard. Clover oil cleanser. Combine equal amount of clove oil, a natural astringent, chamomile to maintain skin pigment, and eucalyptus decongest the skin. Massage gently into the skin by making a circular motion with the tips of your finger and rinse. Crisco right from the can. Crisco is a big secret among beautiful women. Use it to remove makeup and as a highly effective moisturizer. Hospitals even use it to treat psoriasis and eczema. They are known to disguise it as green tea with gum oil. Available in health food stores and some supermarkets. With gum oil is effective in keeping the skin elastic and preventing and treating stretch marks. Pregnant women should definitely use it in the tummy and breast areas. Sweet almond oil. Available in supermarkets. Almond oil is ideal for removing makeup, helping eye blush glow, and as a moisturizer for extremely dry skin. It also suits sunburned skin. Bathing, add some baking soda to your bath, about half a box. It's green should itching skin, irritation, and sunburn. Use Epsom salt, about 1/2 pound, to relax, mask cold and relieve swelling. Try some instant oatmeal or grind any other to a powder in the tub to get rid of sunburn. Apple cider vinegar in the pot will invigorate the body and fight fatigue. Adding a spoonful of honey is said to have insomnia. Combine a cup of instant milk powder with 3 drops of almond oil. Soak for at least 15 minutes, then using a washcloth or loofah, rub vigorously to exfoliate. Remove dead skin. Your skin will absolutely glow and shine. Should you start to feel a cold coming on, take a teaspoon of mustard powder and add it to a hot bath. You just might find off the cold. Orange slices in the pot are uplifting and beat any aromatherapy available.
An overview about fashion retailing sector, UK versus Spain. Within the international context, fashion retailers have suffered the most in the economic downturn in the last years. Nevertheless, the historically high margin fashion sector composite net profit margin was still the highest of all the product groups. Based on the importance of fashion retail sector for the international economy in general, this paper examines the international retailing situation, showing sales data between most important retailers around the world in general and Europe in particular. Specifically, this paper offers an overview on fashion retailing sector in the international context in order to study the position of this sector in the international crisis context. Due to the importance of fashion sector for national economies, in this paper it carries out a comparison between two countries characterized for economic growth of this sector in general, and the women's segment in particular, United Kingdom and Spain. As conclusion, some solutions are explained to face the current situation by the apparel retail management. Introduction. Despite the current global economic downturn, the apparel retail industry continues to grow at a healthy rate, and this, coupled with the absence of switching costs for consumers and great product differentiation, means that rivalry within the industry is no more than moderate. The United Kingdom apparel industry is of great importance to the economy in terms of trade, employment, investment, and revenue for the country. This particular industry has short product life cycles, vast product differentiation, and is characterized by great pace of demand change, coupled with rather long and inflexible supply processes. Clothing is essential to consumers who are individuals where brand loyalty exists. It is more likely to be to the designer than the retailer, although this is usual towards the top end of industry. There is a growing demand for discount unpredictable. The products are determined by designers, subcultures, and creative industries, and are subject to soft and unpredictable changes. Key suppliers in this industry are clothing manufacturers and wholesalers, with retailers able to source from both. Taking into account this retail framework, this paper examines the current retail situation of retail sector and specifically fashion retail sector in the international context, focusing the attention in the specific case of UK. The study starts with an overview of international situation of retailing sector in general and clothing sector in particular, finishing with an overview about the women apparel sector in the international context. The fourth epigraph is focusing on fashion sector in UK, starting with the analysis of current economic situation of retail sector in this country, next with the study of fashion sector, and finally with the specific case of women apparel in UK. Finally, based on analysis carried out, some conclusions and solutions are proposed and focused to fashion retailers. As Coker Stefania did for small soft independent retailer, we believe that a more fruitful approach than concentration on events in one country is comparative research in two or more countries. Our chosen comparator is Spain, and we agree with the aforementioned authors that a useful background to retailing in the two countries can be found in Flavian, because they stress that market innovations generally arrive later in Spain and that the Spanish market is more locally oriented. Topics such as retail strategy have attracted much more academic interest in Britain than in Spain, and although it is very difficult to make reliable comparisons because of the existence of structural differences, both are characterized by the economic growing of this section in general and the women's segment in particular. Nevertheless, we consider that the comparison of the characteristics of different countries' sector will help to better understanding about convergences and divergences between countries on retailing sector. Retailing situation and prospect from academic literature review. Retailing is an ancient business, but retailing as an academic area of study has a less extensive history. Nevertheless, from the 1980s on, there has been an expanding research interest in retailer internationalization, and since the 1990s, retail internationalization has received a significant amount of not only academic attention but also debate. Nowadays, the area is rich in articles that address the subject of international retailing. It is widely accepted that modern retailing is the accumulation of incremental steps over time. The state of retailing depends not only on the cyclical nature of the overall economy in the country or region, but also on specific factors endemic to retailing and the theories of the retail life cycle. The wheel of retailing and scramble merchandising retail accordation remain as valid and useful today as in the past. Nevertheless, this author considers that the aim of retailers have remained relatively steady over time. Attract shoppers through distinctive offering, grow the business, control costs, be a profitable, adapt as necessary, and survive. One of the most remarkable changes in the evolution of retailing is the increased industry concentration and business size. Large retailers in search of substance grow increasingly desire to expand abroad, responding to and also contributing to the globalization process. Growing levels of retail internationalization are in part an outcome of the growing size and sophistication of retail businesses, but also a response to changing consumer demands and behaviors. Today, operating internationally is commonly accepted as an option for growth, but also as a necessity in a scenario in which domestic European most developed mature markets from increasing level of competition and commercial saturation. This increased the number of companies internationalize their activities no longer limited to big retailers. As anticipation and adaptation are essential, retailers must consider at least three trends. First, as internet in the shopping experiences continue expanding, customer expectations on it will also rise, and online shopping provides the opportunity to extend markets and attract new ones, and may provide retailers with unique opportunities for brand building, but without forgotten social media. Second, in regarding brands, a mixed brand strategy will dominate, and today consumers in global markets choose between local, national, and global brands. And third, Khue and Forsythe consider that new relationships among consumers, retailers, and their partners are emerging, and global markets and innovative forms of multi-channel retailing demand a fresh look at the dynamics of today's retailing environment. Regardless of size, line of business, or country of origin, events propose to retailers some orientation for the future. The retailer's focus must always be on consumers and how to best satisfy them, and the firm needs to be distinctive in at least one aspect of its strategy, so as even a small firm could be a star retailer by serving an unfulfilled consumer need. The clothing retailers in the international context. The fashion apparel industry has significantly evolved, particularly over the last 20 years. The demand side is characterized by the complexity of fashion consumption, with diversity of consumers' requirements in terms of price, quality, and innovativeness. Consumers have become more demanding, seeking greater variety and up-to-date style at increasingly competitive price. The trending dynamics of the fashion industry over this period suggest the fading of mass production, increase in number of fashion seasons, and modified structural characteristics in the supply chain have forced retailers to design low cost and flexibility in design, quality, delivery, and speed to market. Nevertheless, there exist also high-cost supply markets like Italy and Spain that have a significant number of manufacturing suppliers. Fashion retailing is therefore a complex industry that also includes several types of companies in terms of product commercial line and brand strategy, designer retailer, and multi-brand retailers. Moreover, there are as well different supply channels or global sourcing strategies, full vertically integration, house branding, and fully outsourced method. Despite sector complexity, fashion retailers have been recognized among the most important international companies, especially with the emergence of fashion retailer super brands such as The Gap, Benetton, and Gucci. Indeed, the international expansion of fashion retailers in Europe far outweighs the foreign activities of retailers commercializing other products. According to Mintel, in Europe clothing is a highly competitive sector, with specialist players facing competition mainly from hypermarkets, department stores, and online players. The overall economic outlook has worsened, which will make things difficult for clothing players, and as competitive pressure will grow, consolidation is likely to accelerate. Fashionability has been a strong lure in the sector, with the top-end and lower-price players performing strongly, and the development of fast fashion has met with an enthusiastic response. Fast fashion has also proved transferable across borders, underlined by the strong performance of Sweden's H&M and Spain's Grupo Inditex in recent years. Primark, a UK business owned by ABF of Ireland, is expanding in Europe. Finally, the middle-mass market has struggled with consumers polarizing to lower-cost fashion or the higher-end players. Fashion sector in United Kingdom and Spain. Fashion retailing in the UK is receiving increasing academic attention, and research has focused on branding, customer decision making, and so on. Recently, fast fashion itself has also attracted interest because fast fashion will have a direct effect on the way consumers purchase and react to trends. However, compared with the huge retail internationalization literature, limited research attention has been paid to fashion retailers' internationalization. As emphasized by Felice, research neglect is somewhat anomalous, not only because fashion retailers are among the most successful of international retailers, but also because in the UK, in terms of the number of retail firms operating in overseas markets, the fashion sectors were the most internationalized. Fully agree with Dawson on the reason why fashion retailers are more likely to be successful internationally compared to other retailing sectors. Small format requiring limited capital and management setup costs, ease of entries, and exits compared to manufacturing. Single brand internationalization format enables more suited to franchising and economy of replication. On the other hand, Doherty's conclusion on entries most strictly in international fashion retailing are that entry most strictly emerge over time as a result of a combination of historical, experiential, financial, opportunistic, strategic, and company-specific factors. And in the case of UK fashion retailers, franchising have emerged as the major entry mode and look like continuing to do so into the future. Contrary to Bird, opinion that as retailers become experienced with move to higher risk modes such as acquisition or organic growth. The Spanish fashion retail industry also reflects the aforementioned trend that expansion of fashion retailers in Europe far outweigh the foreign activities of retailers commercializing other products. In particular, the Spanish fashion retail chain Zara is the most international Spanish brand and one of the most successful fashion retailers, representing an example of global expansion. Other Spanish fashion store chains such as Mango and Adolfo have a wide international presence, while other retailers operate exclusively in their country of origin. Spanish fashion retailers share the main characteristics and challenges of textile and clothing companies in other European countries such as Italy or Great Britain. These trends are highly concentrated distribution channels, increasing internationalization, emergence of international competitors, outsourcing and re-evaluation of the business models to adapt to customer changing tastes. As in other European countries, it is found also in Spain fashion retailing. The aforementioned complexity in terms of product commercial life and brand strategy, such as trade retailers, designer retailers, and multi-brand retailers. The same researchers, after studying the Spanish fashion retail companies, suggested to retailers seeking internationalization that internationalization should be a carefully planned long-term strategy, and the process of internationalization can bring about not only economies of scale in sourcing and logistics, but also economies of scope in management system and technology. Market analysis, United Kingdom and Spain. According to Data Monitor, the apparel retail industry in the UK has grown moderately in value in recent years, and the growth rate is forecast to fluctuate in the years up to 2014. The distribution of fashion still in Spain by type of consumer, regardless of who acquires, gives priority to selling women's clothing, followed by men's clothing, home textiles, and children's clothing. Expense structure remains unchanged over the past 5 years. The UK apparel retail industry had total revenue of $43,108.3 million in 2009, representing a compound annual growth rate of 1.9% for the period spanning 2005 to 2009. According to Keynote, the UK apparel market was worth an estimated €46.5 billion in 2009, accounting for 5.3% of total consumer spending. In 1960, these products accounted for 10% of the household budget, so they have lost relative importance in the consumer economy. The main reason for the apparel market failure to grow rapidly is price deflation. Between 2005 and 2009, the market grew by 6%, equivalent price, but much higher volume of apparel were bought at lower price. The women's outerwear actually declined slightly in value because average price were 22% lower in 2009 than they were in 2005, and this occurred despite the dynamism of fast fashion. Price for some clothing items have, in fact, declined for a much longer period, even relative to late 1980 prices. This is attributable to long-term factors: triple imports and retail competition. In the 1990s, in order to stay in competition, some retailers shifted sourcing of merchandise to the Far East for a low-cost advantage. Therefore, supply chains became more complex, forcing retailers not only introduce practices such as just-in-time, computer-integrated manufacturing, and total quality management in manufacturing, but also shortening supply lines and speeding response in the market. Retail competition, the other factor in restraining prices, have featured the broadening out of retail sources of apparel to take in new ways of competitors such as sports shops and deep discounter in 1990, and the internet and grocery superstores in the 2000s. Keynote consumer research for this report found that people spread their shopping for apparel across a wide variety of generalist outlets, chain stores, grocery superstores, sports shops, and department stores. In addition to fashion trends, shoe shops and mail-order catalogs, the traditional outlets. The decline of domestic production and the ultra-competitive retail environment means that retailers now dominate the apparel market. Since its beginning, the fashion apparel industry in UK has been characterized by high level of dominance by large retailers with inflexible supply chains. As a result, retailers in the UK started providing increased variety and fashionability to their customers, keeping in mind the low cost of the merchandise. The large retailers also added more faces to the existing seasons, resulting in providing high and fast fashion at a low price. This is the reason why the UK industry has been widely acknowledged to have initiated to the fast fashion strategy in the fashion industry. In Spain, distribution patterns in the clothing market remained virtually unchanged in 2008 from those of the previous years. Specialist stores remain at the top of the ranking with a market share of around 55% because consumers are more confident in this type of store and suppose that the quality offered will be higher. Nevertheless, they have gradually lost their to grocery and mixed retailers, which offer lower prices. From shopping is only available in some parts of the country, but the increase in internet sales is notable in nearly all subsectors. One of the main effects of the economic crisis has been consumers opting for lower price products. Many of brands that were previously sold at the mid-market price point have opted to reduce their price, and in many cases the quality as well. The decline in the aggregate market volumes have been marked, but considerably less so than the fall in market value because of this shift toward cheaper and lower quality brands Although there were no substantial changes in the high-end and luxury segments, the current economic crisis had led to an increase in the sale of clothing sold in super or hypermarkets, which is usually of poor quality and sold at very low price. Spanish consumers are now reluctant to spend on Spanish fashion, although it is among the best in the world because its prices are relatively high. The opening of new outlets in Spain was a push for many companies that sold their stock through these stores. Sales through internet stores also grew enormously during 2008. According to ICEX, the UK import of clothing outside, both male and female, continued to increase year after year. The main supplier in the UK is China, which ranks first as a supplier in 9 of the 14 tariff items of clothing outerwear and the line, and 100% of tariff items of footwear. In the Spanish fashion sector, exports have grown dramatically since 1993, but in 2009, both exports and imports experienced a decline despite the commitment to international business. Among the countries of export destination are France, Portugal, Italy, Germany, and UK, and among the importers, China, Italy, France, Turkey, and Portugal. Analyzing a specific segment, women's fashion in UK and Spain. Despite overall declines in the women's apparel segment, a group of shoppers say they will continue to spend in the category and will represent a disproportionate percentage of category sales. According to Khue Minh Associates analysis of PIG Research more recent study of more than 8,000 shoppers' opinions. Khue Minh Associates research shows that women are more inclined to change their behaviors, and in particular, they are more likely to become more practical and realistic in their purchases, focus on needs rather than wants, and become more budget conscious. Women have also deferred more discretionary purchases than men, with the biggest discrepancies being in going out to eat and apparel purchase. Because 37% of women continue to defer apparel purchase, women's apparel sales are likely to remain sluggish in the near future. However, a target group of confident women shoppers will maintain or increase their women's apparel spending. This target group is younger and more brand conscious. They prefer shopping at department stores and specialty stores for women's apparel, as opposed to discounters, and they are also more demanding shoppers, placing higher expectations across many non-price aspects of retailers like selection, quality, and styles. Because this target group spending represents a considerable 57% of women's apparel sales, retailers and brands that target this group are more likely to be successful in the coming months. In the European women's wear market value, UK accounts for 16.6%, and Spain accounts for 6.2%. Germany accounts for a further 20.2% of the European market. Women's wear is the largest segment of the apparel retail industry in the UK, accounting for 54% 4.6% of the industry total value. Sales of women's wear proved the most lucrative for the UK apparel retail industry in 2009, with total revenues of $3461.6 million, equivalent to 54.6% of the market's overall value. In comparison, sales of menswear generated revenues of $20,282.1 million in 2009, equating to 32.1% of the industry aggregate revenue. Conclusions. As a result of 20 years of sustained research on international retailing, various conclusions may be drawn. International retailing is reasonably well understood as an area of investigation in its own right. There is a body of work that describes and analyzes the process as an important component of the service sector. Retailing contributes to a wider understanding of the broader internationalization process. The global recession changed the behavior of consumers. They become more value conscious, more attracted to private labels, and less likely to purchase large discretionary items. That the duration and depth of the recent downturn raise the possibility that the trends in consumer behavior will be certain even after recovery takes place. This could apply principally to the market in which consumer spending had been excessive during the recession era, and where spending were fueled by debt. If this pattern holds, it will have important implications for retailers operating in large developed markets. First, they will have to offer consumers a favorable value proposition. A good value proposition will entail being clearly differentiated from competitors so that consumers see the unique offering, perhaps through exclusive brands, and become less likely to compare prices. In addition, smart retailers will focus on brand management in order to convey their value proposition. They will also focus on improvements in customer experience as a differentiating factor. Second, retailers may find necessary to shift their resources toward the development of discount concepts, but the problem, of course, is that discount formats can cannibalize higher price formats. Third, this strategy could prove to be a zero-sum game. Finally, challenging conditions in markets like the United States and UK may compel retailers to invest in newer markets. Thus, the value orientation of rich country consumers could have the effect of accelerating retail globalization. Users take note to inquiries to value the problem faced by textiles and clothing companies that confirm that companies were complaining about the growing restrictiveness in accessing credit for their daily business. Additionally, among the first measures identified by companies to invest to prepare the future, They cited having invested strongly to enhance their marketing, innovation, and design capacities together with further improvements in the quality of the products. In addition, efforts toward a better integration with the retail or distribution and better training and skills of the worker were underlined. According to Euromonitor, most retailers will continue to implement expansion programs in order to drive growth and in order to maintain interest from investors. However, only a few retailers are expected to succeed with their expansion plans, and so a number of ambitious retailers find themselves in poor financial situations due to intensive expansion plans. The recession led to a number of retailers suffering from significant financial difficulties. Many retailers, nevertheless, continue to expand and consequently suffer decline in same-store sales and even overall sales in a weak consumer environment. Leading retailers and emerging retailers in channels such as supermarkets and discounters are likely to continue with their expansion plans, with the set-up accelerate of the end of a recession. However, their expansion is expected to be largely at the expense of smaller and struggling companies. The acquisition or disappearance of these smaller or poorly performing chains will lead to a number of store closures in the long term. UK high street retailing will third be led by fewer brands. Many believe that this decluttering of the UK retail environment is a necessary process, and although it was triggered by the recession, could have eventually happened regardless of the state of the economics. While strong UK retailers will continue to expand in the UK, many will see more dramatic growth in emerging countries such as the UAE, which saw dynamic retail growth towards the end of the review period. Many retailers already recognize the potential for growth in rapidly emerging countries such as China. Marks & Spencer opened its first Chinese store in October 2008. Successful retailers will also invest in renovating older stores in addition to their expansion plans, as consumers will continue to be attracted by new products and environments. Therefore, as retailers focus on areas other than outlet expansion in the UK, retailing will struggle to achieve volume growth, and outlet volume for store-based retailing will decline. Fast fashion. Fast fashion is an expression used to refer to the growing popularity of rapidly produced and consumed fashion created to meet fast-changing trends. The rapid speed of this style technique creates a competitive advantage for the organizations using it. This is because fast fashion can bring products from the ideation phase to the end product in an extremely short period of time. Fast fashion produces cheaper clothing for shopper for trends that are constantly changing. Companies can then be the first to market such new trends to consumers and capitalize on their continually evolving demand. It is not uncommon for multiple new products to be released several times a month or even several times a week to stay at the forefront of a trend. However, it also comes with some very substantial adverse effects on the environment, leading many sustainability groups and large corporations to move away from fast fashion. How it works? Since the 1990s, fast fashion has been on the rise as shopping becomes ever more a form of entertainment and the demand for fashionable clothing increases. Fashion shows regularly set the stage for new trends, which can be trending monthly or even weekly, rather than the usual seasonal trends that were common before. Fast fashion gives consumers the ability to stay on top of the current fashions in a somewhat affordable way. Clothing retailers can implement rapid clothing production through strong supply chain management with strong connection or relationship between producer and retailers. Fast fashion organizations focus on vertically integrated supply chains and developing products with revenue-oriented pricing. This practice provides a mutually beneficial exchange between the producer, vendor, and consumer. Fast fashion leaders. Leaders in fast fashion include Dada, H&M, Forever 21, and Topshop, who are well known for their ability to stay on trend and to quickly produce affordable clothing. Dada was the leader of the shift when they began receiving bi-weekly deliveries of new products. They were able to replicate fashion and streetwear trends weekly and stay ahead of their competitors, resulting in great success for their company. Many more department store and designer retailers follow still to try and copy the pioneer company's success. Environmental impacts. Fast fashion also resulted in a massive increase in waste associated with the fashion world. Many believe there must be a considerable shift in how many leading retailers operate to mitigate the negative effects that fast fashion is creating. Clothes can travel around the world many times before getting to the end consumer, resulting in carbon dioxide emissions, clothes waste, and other pollution risks. Consumers can choose to decrease the adverse effects of fast fashion. Some examples include buying less clothing and extending the life of their current clothing. Another solution is thrift shopping, which decreases the number of products that end up in garbage and can be purchased for a very low price. Finally, consumers can research the products before buying them to ensure they are sustainably sourced and produced. At the end of the day, it all comes down to consumers putting in their effort to care about the harmful effects of fast fashion and make a concerted effort to change that. Economic impact. At the core of fast fashion is the supply and demand of the associated trends. Previously, there was said to be 2 fashion seasons, which have now grown into 52 micro-seasons. This is due to the demand for the next new trend as consumers follow the top world state of fashion. It is a race by the retailers to see who can produce the next trend the fastest and for the most affordable price. The apparel industry is expected to reach $3 trillion in value by 2030, up from $1.9 trillion in 2019. Such numbers show the extreme wave associated society is continuing to put on fashion and consumerism with no end in sight. Fast fashion refers to the rapidly developed, marketed, and produced lines of clothing created to follow the fashion trends of our world. The speed of development creates a competitive advantage for those companies that can take advantage of it. Strong supply chain management has made this style of operation very successful in the last 3 decades. Many companies have followed suit to profit from this market, which have seen both success stories and failures. Tied to the economic successes, there have also been massive environmental impacts associated with fast fashion. It has led many organizations to move away from this form of apparel retail. However, fast fashion will be around for many years to come unless there is a change in the consumer's mindset.